In week 1 of this 2020 college football season for the Michigan Wolverines, they start up against the Wisconsin Badgers. I have the preview and predictions video right now for you on this game coming up right now. Hello and welcome to Intermittent Sports, the show where we go over the Detroit Lions, Detroit Pistons, Detroit Tigers, and Michigan Wolverines. So if you're a fan of 1, 2, 3, or possibly all 4 of those teams, go ahead and subscribe right here. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of the action. We kind of pride ourselves on being the #1 YouTube source for these teams. We do live commentating, podcasts, things of the sort, and videos like this. So if that's something that interests you, hey, join the squad. Alright, so it's almost here. COVID pending. The first game of the season and a Big Ten big one to kick things off. We're at home in Ann Arbor in this one. We've got a brand new quarterback, a lot of new faces on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive line. We got a lot to go over. So without further ado, let's break all of this down and make a prediction, shall we? Now, a lot of this was already covered in one of my previous videos where I went over the first 3 games of the season against Wisconsin, Penn State, and Michigan State. And now I'm taking the bullet points from the Wisconsin video and adding a little bit to it so that you can have just this video if all you're concerned about is Wisconsin to start the season. Which, if we're being realistic, that's how we should do, one game at a time, but we're YouTube. We don't play by the rules. So let's go ahead and go over those bullet points. Number 1, they have a really big, really strong, really talented offensive line. Shocker, I know. And in doing my research, I found out that not one starter is under a redshirt junior status. That means not only are they talented, they're experienced as well. When you're already that good at blocking and that stout, to have that experience, to have that chemistry, that seems like there's going to be a lot of open lanes for running backs and a lot of time for the quarterback to find open receivers, as well as a lot of ticks on the clock for those receivers to get themselves open. And this is even with having a defensive line and linebacking core that can get to the quarterback. I mean, Kwity Paye and Aiden Hutchinson, both very capable, particularly Paye. At linebacker, you know Cameron McGrow's going to be sent in a lot of blitz packages. Then you got Michael Barrett at Viper. Just overall a lot of speed that can really jet it. Still, that brute size at Wisconsin and that mold is going to present a problem. They're likely going to be very capable of picking up on the different blitz packages that Dr. Blitz, Don Brown himself, is going to be bringing. So we're going to have to do a really good job of utilizing our speed around the edges and through the holes as they present themselves. 2, we know Wisconsin's running back is going to get a lot of yards no matter who they send back there. That's just what they do. To a lot of credit to that offensive line and some of the credit to that running back. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jonathan Taylor was pretty dang good, as was Melvin Gordon, and pretty much anybody that's been back there in that backfield over recent years, but that offensive line helps, to say the least. Last year, Jonathan Taylor ate us alive, having 203 yards on 23 carries. That's 8.8 yards per carry. That's way too much. He also found pay dirt twice, and his backup, Groshek, who we'll be seeing this year, had 4 carries for 40 yards. That's 10 yards per carry if you're doing the math, and 2 catches for 38 yards. So 78 total yards against us, just out of the backup alone, who we're going to be going against this year. So I think it's safe to say he's still going to be productive this time around, but I'm kind of hoping it's not going to be to that degree. I'm thinking that Groshek isn't Jonathan Taylor. I think you're probably thinking the same. Number 3, Jack Cohn is going to be asked to be a game manager and not do too much for that Wisconsin offense. What we need to do then is, I don't know, not allow this. Last year, Cohn only had to throw the ball 16 times. We didn't put any pressure on him physically, and we didn't even put any kind of pressure on him mentally. He didn't have to convert any kind of third downs. He didn't have to be put in any kind of situations where he needed to force a throw. We did not get to him anywhere. We simply made it too easy for him. Now, I wouldn't say that our defensive game plan last year was bad. We went in to stop the run. It looks pretty bad because we were down 28-0 at the half, but listen, Jonathan Taylor did a lot of things on his own that we weren't prepared for. He went up the middle a lot, bounced it outside, and our cornerbacks were getting sucked in too much. So we had the game plan to stop the run. The guys were there. The coaches called the right plays, but the second level guys that were supposed to be there, they didn't do their job. They didn't maintain lane integrity. They didn't stay where they're supposed to be. Lavert Hill was definitely the culprit of this mostly. I don't want to be too hard on him. He had a great career at Michigan. He's going to do great in the NFL. It's just, you know, he got sucked in a lot in this particular game. So this year, that's what we have to do. We have to limit the run a little bit better and maintain our integrity on defense. We can't give up 8.8 yards per carry to the starter and 10 yards per carry to the backup. That's just unacceptable. On defense, we know that Wisconsin's going to be tough. They're going to be gritty. They're not going to give you anything. You're going to have to earn everything. The biggest area of concern if you follow Michigan football is obviously going to be the offensive line. There's not going to be a lot of experience there. I'm excited to see my boy Chuck Filiaga finally get in. He's a big old boy that's going to move some boys. Maybe not in this game against Wisconsin, but he's got a bright career ahead of him. But yeah, him and the rest of the guys, the exact opposite of Wisconsin. Not experienced, not put through the mold and the test of time. All eyes are absolutely going to be on Zach Carpenter and Ryan Hayes. One is a freshman center, the other a sophomore left tackle. They're going to have their work cut out for them right out the gates. They're going to have to be ready to go. I hope their mindset is there in this one. They're going to need it. They just need to play one play at a time and let it come to them. Now, this is obviously a tall task to ask of them, but we do have Ed Warner as our offensive line coach. If anybody can get the job done, hey, it's that guy. He's been known to have that kind of preparation, and the offensive line has absolutely improved and been stellar under his watch. So with all of that said and done so far, and it looks like Wisconsin's got the edge in a lot of areas, here's where I do think we have a lot of advantages, and that's at the skill set positions. On both sides of the ball, honestly. On defense, we're of course sporting out Ambry Thomas, Cameron McGrone, Daxton Hill, Kwity Paye, who I said earlier. Wow, that's a lot of guys who are fast at their position. It's going to be your classic battle between speed and strength. And you know what they always say, speed kills. I honestly don't see a lot of Wisconsin receivers who are going to have the ability to break free from that kind of speed. They're going to have a hard time getting open. Their hope is what I said earlier, that their offensive line is going to protect Jack Cohn long enough for them to do so. I mean, no matter how good you are at cornerback or safety, no matter how fast you are, you can't keep up with a guy when you don't know where he's going for 7-8 seconds at a time. It's mission impossible. We have to have some semblance of a pass rush, and we have to stop the run somehow, some way, or at least limit it. Now, we know there's going to be big plays here and there. There always is against Michigan's defense and the aggressive style that we play, but we have to be very bend, don't break. We can't let those big plays get to us mentally. One big issue in last year's game against Wisconsin was we bended and broke it. In other words, we literally gave up nothing but touchdowns. Couldn't force turnovers, couldn't hold them to field goals, couldn't get out of our own way. On offense, the same exact thing, guys. We have speed and speed kills. We have Giles Jackson, Mike Sanristil, Ronnie Bell, Chris Evans, Hassan Haskins, Dylan McCaffrey, if you really want to count it at the quarterback position, he's pretty quick for what he does. I think we really have an opportunity to beat Wisconsin with our legs and really use that speed and space that was talked about all throughout the offseason of the 2019 season, but we only really saw limited action of in that season. I'm hoping they bring out that playbook that they ran their mouths about. Because of all times to do it, now's the time to do it. Utilize what you have. Then and only then, when Wisconsin tries to overcorrect and beat our speed, that's when we hit them with Zach Charbonnet at the running back position and Nico Collins at the receiver position. It's not rocket science. We have talent. We got to find out how to use it. I think all Michigan fans can agree this offense is going to be very, very good and very, very dangerous if we use them in the right way and if our offensive line gets really good really fast, which is asking for a lot, but come on, guys. I know you can do it. McCaffrey is a very good guy to have back there in the backfield calling the shots in a game where third down conversions and taking care of the football are going to matter most. I think I'd almost rather have him than Shea Patterson. I know Shea Patterson had all the talent in the world, but he wasn't excellent at taking care of the football, and he wasn't excellent at converting under pressure situations. This is where Dylan McCaffrey can thrive and do better than what we had last season. It's important also, as I mentioned earlier, for him to use his legs in this game whenever he has the opportunity. That's a tough thing for a quarterback to have to do, especially against a team like Wisconsin, where it's like, God, they got some big hitters, some hard hitters. I don't know if I want to take that kind of punishment, but you have to do it so that you can keep them guessing, keep them wondering, and on their toes the entire game. Lastly, while it's not as big of a deal as it usually is, this game of course is at home. During coronavirus, I don't know what that's going to mean, but hey, it's at home. And don't let what happened last year get in your head. You know, we've continued to go back and forth with Wisconsin the same way we have with Penn State. The home team usually has the advantage in this game. I'm sticking with that trend this year as well. Your Michigan Wolverines get the W in week 1. They help Jim Harbaugh kind of come off the hot tensions a little bit, and we get that dub 21-17. Close one. Heart's going to be beaten, but we're going to win. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. This is Intermittent Sports, your #1 YouTube source for the Detroit Tigers, Detroit Lions, Detroit Pistons, and hey, the Michigan Wolverines. If you enjoyed what you watched today, go ahead and subscribe right here and join the big house. The fee is only $4.99 a month upon acceptance of application. Just kidding, it's free, I promise. We've got the 2020 Detroit Lions preview coming up for you soon. We got Michigan's games 4 through 6. We got a funny video called Things Michigan Fans Say. A lot of stuff on the plate, especially going into the football season. We're going to be calling the games live, doing podcasts on Friday where you can call in. It's going to be a lot of fun, so we hope to see you there. Until next time, guys, go blue.
Yeah.